And staying in the country, the 16th of August marks the 6th anniversary of what's become known as the Marikana Massacre. Now, back in 2012, 34 protesting miners were killed by police officers in the country's Platinum Belt. It's the deadliest incident in South Africa since the advent of democracy in 1994. Now, Angelo Coppola takes a look back at how events unfolded.
While the massacre at the First Hill or Copy has been thoroughly documented by video and stills photography, it's what happened 15 minutes later, 500 meters away, once the first round of shooting had stopped. The so-called Scene 2. It was undocumented.
So the purpose of this report was to go through the thousands of transcripts, the various witness statements from the police, from the miners that were there, that saw what happened, the forensic documentation into how people died, where the shooters would have been, what wounds they died of, and to really provide a very detailed account for the first time in public at what happened at that Scene 2, because Scene 2 took place outside of the media. There was no film footage other than that filmed by some police officials.
What the picture strongly suggests is that they got carried away and ended up shooting a group of strikers who were cowering in front of them and who were trying to take shelter from the water cannons and the police bullets, and that's who they ended up killing.
Judge Ian Farlam, who headed up the original Commission of Inquiry, says they weren't in a position to make any definitive findings and recommendations on the second scene. Farlam had recommended a further investigation.
It's a very well worked out and well reasoned report, very fair, not one-sided or biased, and it's a valuable contribution. And I trust he's going to send it to IPID and to the provincial DPP and to Dr. Saul Pretorius, so that in the work that I trust they are still doing, they will find it of great assistance.
The massacres at Scenes 1 and 2 should have had far-reaching implications for policing in South Africa. It hasn't happened yet, but the new South African Police Service's leadership can act decisively and reassure the country.
This is how we're going to turn it around. This is what the caliber of police officer we're looking for. This is how we're going to train them. This is how we're going to hold them accountable. This is how we're going to ensure that every interaction with the police officer is one in which a community member feels better about the police after that interaction.
The South African Police Services has finally begun to talk to the 37 Marikana families about loss of support compensation.
Then they've offered another 500,000 per family for general damages. So that brings it up to about, I think, over 80 million. The families have accepted the loss of support only. The one family that has made an offer is, of course, not accepting that. But then the families have not accepted and have instructed our council to consider the R500,000. But as I've stated, they are unhappy with that offer.
The Marikana Massacre and all the consequences as a result of what happened on that fateful day some 6 years ago are still being measured and felt now, and the families are looking for closure. I'm Angelo Coppola for CGTN in Johannesburg, South Africa.